Alright, so we're approaching the end of the week / month for Wuthering Waves, and there's a few things that you don't want to forget before the week ends. So first off, you want to make sure that you completed the main story. This is very important because this allows you to get access to the Havoc Rover. Next, you want to try to do echo farming and get your Databank up. At the very least, you want to get it to 15 so that way you can start getting gold echoes. But if you can get it to 18, that's even better because you have an enhanced drop rate. Once that is done, you want to start focusing on making your main team stronger. So for me, it's Gian, Mortefi, and Verena. And especially for your main DPS, you want to make sure that you fully ascend them, level up their main weapon, and level up their main skills, since they're going to be the main person carrying the team. And lastly, you want to try to make sure that you get them a very strong echo set. So for me, since I'm using Gian, I want to have the echo set that gives me arrow damage, and that would be the Sonata effect. And the strongest combination of echoes would be 4, 3, 3, 1, 1, where 4 is a boss one. Ideally, you get crit rate. You have your elite ones, which for me give me arrow damage, and then the 2 ones that just have attack. But if you do find that difficult to get or you're running out of time, you could go with 3 elite sets, to where you can get 2 pieces with elemental damage, and then you can get 2 pieces with attack damage. But also try to get something that has a good 2-piece effect for your main character. For your support characters, you don't necessarily have to have the best echoes, but you still might want to aim for that 5-piece effect. Especially when it comes to Verena. The Moonlit Clouds 5-star effect is really good, especially for your main DPS, because once you switch back into them, they're going to get an attack bonus. Also, if you can, try to get Heron as your top echo, due to the fact that once you cast this echo and you switch to the main character, you give them another damage boost. Also, one thing to note for your echoes, you might want to try to go ahead and get them to 25, at least your boss and your elite echoes, because the higher you get them, the more you're able to tune. Now, this echo is not the greatest since the things that I tuned are alright at best. Liberation damage bonus and energy recharge are my best substats, so I do want to farm a better echo in the future. But in the early game, just having plus 25 of your main stat is going to be very helpful for your main character, especially if you can swap these echo sets between characters. Your next priority is that you want to start building the main character, because once you complete the main story, you get access to Havoc. And how you're able to switch over to that is by simply clicking this button up here and pressing convert. And I would treat her just like your main character, to where you want to try to level up her weapon, get most of her skills leveled, and get her a Havoc damage bonus set, which would be Sun Sinking Eclipse. Now for the 4-cost relic, the best one to go for is Dreamless. The reason being is that you can do this weekly boss on the lowest level, making it very easy to farm, because it still has a chance to drop a gold echo. Once you have that, now you need to go for 2 elites and 2 common relics. So as you see here, I was able to find a Havoc damage bonus of the proper set. But farming elites can take quite a while, and you don't always find what you exactly need. So one of the fastest ways to build her set is to do the elusive realm by simply clicking here and going there, and then it will proceed you to this realm. And if you knock out all of these, which you should be able to knock this out all the way up to level 65, and this is going to help you get a lot of currency. With that currency, you want to buy elite echoes. So if you clear this challenge, you can get 2 elite echoes. This saves you a lot of time because you're able to quickly boost up your Havoc Rover. But you might not have the strongest characters on your account, so even when you do these challenges, they do give you trial characters that you're able to use. These trial characters really help carry your account when starting out, so I recommend that you use the trial characters if you're having a difficult time clearing these. And the main reason why you're trying to do all this is so that way you can get into the Tower of Adversity. Here you can get some pretty nice rewards like tuners, which help make your echo stronger, and it does have a monthly limit, and since the month is ending soon, you might want to try to buy these out. But even with that, you do want to be careful not to use too many resources to level up your teams. That's why at most, I'm mainly focusing on my main DPS Gian. For my other team, the Rover, her team is going to consist of Sunha and Baizi, to where I'm going to try to get both of them up to level 40, because I don't need them to be the strongest team, since Rover is going to mainly be carrying them. Also, one trick to help clear this tower is that if you have Danjin on your account, she also uses a sword, the same as a Rover, and she uses a Havoc set, so you can switch all of that gear over to Danjin and just focus on these 2 characters. So if you did everything that I mentioned so far in this video, you should be able to beat the stable zone and the experiment zone fairly easily. At the hazard zone, you might have a more difficult time, but you should be able to get a few levels in the Resonant Tower and the Echo Tower. Hopefully you have enough currency to at least buy your monthly tuners. But if you can't get them all this month, don't worry about it, because again, you don't want to try to put too many resources into too many characters right now. So now let's go ahead and discuss the things that you want to make sure that you're doing daily and before the month ends. You want to make sure that you're using up your wayplate energy, and you can see when it's about to be completely full by clicking on this plus icon on the map. Here it shows that I'm going to be completely full in 2 hours and 47 minutes, and it also tells you how long it takes for each wayplate to recover. You also have these right here, which can refresh your energy. You could consider using these if you're really trying to level up certain characters, but I would only use this if you have exhausted all of your resources if you're trying to hurry and clear something. You also want to make sure that you're doing your daily quests so that way you can get additional union experience, which is important because the higher union level you get, the better rewards you get. Next, you want to go ahead and click on this book icon, and you want to make sure that you're doing enough activities to go ahead and get 100 activity points. This is going to give you a lot of experience, so you want to make sure that you're doing at least enough things to get 100 points. And certain things you don't even have to use your wayplate energy to do. For example, this forgery challenge, if you click on it, you can just complete the forgery challenge and not spend your wayplate energy, and that's still going to count towards your activity for the day. Now you might be wondering, what's the best place to spend your wayplates on? Usually that is focused around your main character, so where you're either going to be fighting bosses or generally doing forgery challenges. So if you take a look at Gian, you'll notice to ascend him, I need to get this item, which I can get by killing the monkey boss. I also need peacock flowers, which you can buy at the pharmacy, but that does waste money, and I recommend just using an interactive map so that way you can go pick these up yourself. These right here are just from killing enemies throughout the world, which you can easily search for even just clicking on the item itself. To where that's dropped from the turtles, all I have to do is simply press detect, and this will put every place on the map where these can be found. So if you are low on materials like that, you can easily go farm them. But you also want to have your weapons fully leveled up, and these are where forgery challenges come into place. And lastly, the skills. These are going to use materials from the forgery challenges as well, so you want to make sure that at the very least you're leveling up your main character's skills. Usually the intro skill is something that you can skip, but you do want to probably read it and see if it's worth to put the resources in there. But for a main DPS, generally their basic attack, their resonance skill, their forte circuit, and their resonance liberation is one of the strongest aspects of the character. Also, this middle skill is usually the thing that you want to go for, so you do need to put enough in your forte circuit so that way you can get this extra skill. To where if you take a look at my Verena, I pretty much put nothing else in all the other skills besides the forte circuit, so that way I can get this ability, allowing her to give attack bonus to all the party members. Also, you want to try to forward your battle pass, and if you were able to get the $10 one, you get access to the second row. I don't really recommend the $20 one. You get a couple extra levels and a couple little extra items, but it's really not worth. But once you reach level 30 in the battle pass, you get access to a 4-star weapon selector, and I ended up choosing Autumn Trace since I have Gian on my account. This also works really well for Calcharo, mainly due to the fact that it has crit rate as a secondary stat, and it also increases basic and heavy attack damage, something that both of these characters do. And you want to make sure that you're doing your weekly bosses, because these are one of the main ways that you're going to level up your characters. And you only get 3 attempts a week, but you do get higher rewards the higher division level you are. So if you've been playing since day 1, you should be able to reach a union level above 30. If you are close to 30, you might want to wait to do your weekly bosses towards the end of the week, so that way you can get better rewards. But if you desperately need them to clear some of the challenges that I discussed earlier, you could go ahead and do it because you're not losing out on too many rewards. Then besides that, you want to generally knock out all of your side quests. Some give you more union experience than others, but it's good to go ahead and try to knock out every single quest you can, so that way you can get that extra union experience, so that way you can get high rewards in the upcoming weeks. And one thing that you do want to focus on is exploring. This is going to help give you a lot of extra union experience as well as materials to level up your characters. And usually the best way to do that is to use an interactive map, pick an area, and mark off what you find. And lastly, especially if you've been playing pretty casually, you want to make sure that you check your mail. A lot of things have happened in the game, so we've gotten quite a bit of rewards. And you might have been like me, and you might have not read every single mail that has came through. But some you do want to take a look at. For example, this one right here where they have the special survey. You want to make sure that you go ahead and click this link and fill out the survey to where you're going to get a few extra rewards. There's also some to where you get a free 4-star weapon selector. And recently, they gave us a free 5-star voucher to where we can get a free 5-star character. By simply going to the banners, and you'll notice here at the very bottom, you're able to choose another free 5-star character. So if you started your account and you weren't able to get Farina or some other character that you want, here's another chance to get something that you prefer, which will be very helpful if you are struggling on a few of the challenges that I mentioned earlier. Well, hopefully all of this was helpful for you and I at least told you something that you didn't know. If so, I would greatly appreciate a like so that way we can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.